Evening, guys. Hope you are all well. First of all, I'm just going to apologise if anybody can hear my daughter screaming in the background. It always coincides nicely with her getting in the bath, which she loves. Thank you for joining us for another destination presentation. It's an exciting one this week. We are joined by Stephen and Brett from Tobago. I actually listened in on a Tobago presentation from Stephen earlier on in lockdown, more an Asian-specific one, and I have to say it's a destination that is definitely up there on my bucket list, and I think Paul and Claire have been lucky enough to go there as well. So hopefully a good Q&A session at the end with lots of honest feedback as well. But first of all, thank you to Stephen and Brett for joining us. How are you both?
Fantastic. I'm fine. Hi, how you doing?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Brett, you're joining us from Tobago, aren't you?
Yes, from sunny Tobago. A little rainy right now, but it is a tropical island, right?
So it's what you expect. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you both for giving up your time. So, Stephen, I'm happy to hand straight over to you. I know you're going to share your screen with us. What we'll do is we'll mute ourselves throughout the presentation, and then we'll come back on, and everyone can have a chat when we do the Q&A at the end.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you. Now, hopefully everyone can see the screen. Is that all coming up nice and clear?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yes, superb, superb, excellent. Well, thank you guys very much for joining us. Good evening, welcome. As Mark has said, my name is Stephen Smith. I am the Sales and Marketing Manager for the Tobago Tourism Agency. I'm going to obviously be your main presenter tonight. And obviously I'm joined, as Mark has said, by Brett Kenny, a friend of mine on Island. He owns and runs Radical Sports, which is probably the premier, if not one of the premier sporting operations, water sports operations on Tobago. So yes, thank you very much, Brett, for joining me on this. And you will have the privilege of hearing his wonderful dulcet tones as the presentation proceeds. So without further ado, I shall continue. I shall begin. First of all, one thing that you will spot as the presentation continues or proceeds is there will be a number of questions that come up during the presentation. And what we've found over the last couple of years is that consumers like yourselves ask similar or the same sort of questions over and over again. So those questions, so what we've done is design this presentation to try and answer some of those questions and help you decide that Tobago is the place for you to visit. So first of all, as this picture shows you, where are our islands? We are part of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And as you can see from this image, we're right at the very bottom of the crest of Caribbean islands. So we're very much closer to South America than, in fact, than most of the other Caribbean islands. And as the presentation proceeds, you'll find out that we're very much influenced by Southern America, okay, in a very positive way. So yes, that's where we are, right at the very bottom of the crest of the Caribbean islands, and the island itself. It's a lovely, beautiful island, 25 miles by 7 at its widest point. The interior of the island, the main core of the island, is pristine rainforest. The oldest protected rainforest in the Western Hemisphere. Beautiful, green, lush. Now, probably 80% of your accommodation, your nightlife, your bars, your restaurants, are down in this, are positioned down in this southern western tip of the island, which basically means when you travel around the rest of the island, it is green, it is unspoilt. You'll find deserted coves, small villages, unspoilt, untouched, and undiscovered coves. Beautiful place, absolutely lovely, incredible. So yes, that's the geography. The northern coast of the island is your Caribbean coast. Southern is your Atlantic coast. So very, very different in their own feel and their own style. But as we proceed, you'll learn a little bit more about the island itself. Getting to Tobago is very, very easy currently. Virgin have announced that when they return, which is scheduled for later on in October, it might be pushed back a little bit into November. But when they do return, they will be flying direct out of Heathrow, which is new for us. British Airways, when they return, will fly direct from London Gatwick. So either one of those airports is going to work for you, either flying with Virgin or British Airways. And of course, it opens up connectivity with other parts of the UK, depending on where you're situated. So getting to the island, very, very easy. Now, one of the main questions that we're asked, that we're always asked, is what is the best time to travel to Tobago? The real answer for that question is basically whenever you want to travel. The Tobago principally has two seasons. The first half of the year is the dry season, and the second half of the year is the wet season. And when I say the wet season, which is right now, we don't have monsoons. It's not going to rain. It might be raining now, I believe. Brett has pointed that it's actually raining today, but it doesn't rain for the whole week constantly like a monsoon. It'll be short, heavy showers, just like anywhere else in the Caribbean. But of course, it's more moist. It's more lush. The island is more lush and green at this sort of time. You've got average temperatures of approximately 30 degrees year round. So regardless of when you want to travel, you're going to get your tan, a bit like me. And of course, we do actually sit, if you remember the map that I've just shown you, we actually sit underneath the hurricane belt. So we don't actually get troubled by them on an annual basis. Now, this is not boast, it's just a situation of where we're positioned in the Caribbean, very much closer, as I said, to South America than the rest of the Caribbean. I think the last time we were touch wood, we were disturbed by a hurricane was 1963. So that goes to show you we're not really on the hurricane track. Lots of activities, sporting activities and festivals run throughout the year. So yes, as the presentation proceeds, you'll find and learn a little bit more about all the different things you can do throughout the whole year. The answer to that question, when's the best time to travel, is whenever you want to travel. So I'm going to take a break now, and I'm going to pass over to Brett, who's going to give you a little bit more information about certain little aspects of Tobago. Over to you, Brett.
Yeah, Stephen. Just want to make sure everybody's hearing me over there on that side. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, guys, Tobago is a small island packed with a lot of fun things to do both on and off the water. I kind of like look at Tobago as like a warm weather, fun 365 destination. Just like Stephen was saying, 365 is the amount of days in the year that you can actually have warm weather fun in this island. You know, everything for the seasoned pro to the curious fellow. There's pretty much something for everybody here in Tobago. And time, as we know on vacation, is a commodity we never have enough of. And what's really great about Tobago, like Stephen pointed out, 25-mile island, but within 5 minutes of leaving the airport, you can be doing activities already. You can be windsurfing, kite surfing, stand-up paddling, kayaking, sailing, foiling, winging. I'm running out of breath. Skateboarding on a half pipe, or even a little bit of, you know, I guess socially distanced liming these days within 5 minutes of leaving the airport. And that's just at Radical Sports Tobago inside the beautiful Pigeon Point Heritage Park. I mean, the fun doesn't stop there. I mean, 5 minutes, you could be sitting on a beautiful Store Bay beach, snorkeling facilities there. You could be scuba diving. If you're not that adventurous, you could still be sitting in a beautiful glass bottom boat going out to the absolutely amazing Buca Reef National Park and doing that from the safety of a chair, looking through a glass and interacting actually with amazing undersea life. Tobago is a playground, I don't even know the word, a Disney-like scenario of teeming with, you know, turtles and rays and octopus and fish from, you know, I mean, the mind can just explode with the amount of amazing creatures that are here. And this is just a few of the things that we have during the day, but that's not where the fun stops in Tobago. One of the, you know, eighth wonders of the world is bioluminescence, you know, where we've discovered that Tobago actually has one of the heaviest concentrations of dinoflagellate plankton, which is this, you know, plankton that glows when you touch it. And pretty much 365 days a year, it's here. However, you can only see it when the moon is really dark, right? And there's about 14 days after about a decade of doing this, the tour, that we figured out are optimal to view this kind of activity. And as you know, the video in the little top bottom right hand can show you, it's kind of hard to describe. I mean, it's kind of like cosmetic effect that happens when you touch the water and this plankton, you know, basically turns on this light show. And you know, it's you know, something that's really kind of surreal as well too, because we do it by stand-up paddleboard and by kayak, so we can really get close to nature on their terms, not adding any like extra light or harmful pollutants to the water or noise. So nature and, you know, us can really, you know, kind of relax in each other's presence and take in this amazing, amazing activity. And you know, it's not just limited also to us. I mean, there's turtles, for example, there's rays, there's all these different animals that kind of interact with that experience as well. And that happens at night. But, you know, one of the amazing things too is that, you know, you can join us March through September for the annual trek of the amazing dinosaur-like leatherback turtles that we have. That are 2 to 3 meters in size. These prehistoric monsters make their way back home where they actually started life. So basically what happens is that these leatherback turtles will travel all around the world, but they'll come back to nest in Tobago where they were born and kind of pass that baton onto the next set of turtles so that future generations of these leatherback turtles will get a chance to be born right here in paradise in Tobago. And, you know, we're not just limited to those turtles. We also have their cousins, the green and the hawksbill turtle, which again, you can see in the waterways all around this island 365 days a year. I mean, at Radical Sports alone, you can come and take one of our turtle safaris and learn to sail while actually seeing these amazing green and hawksbill turtles pop their heads up and say, hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for the vibes. And they head back down south. So, you know, the amount of animal species that we have in Tobago underwater is, you know, is endless. And I'm going to throw it back over to Steven to tell you about the amazing creatures that we have above water on the rest of this amazing island. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Brett. And yes, just to continue on from that theme, yes, another question, another major question that we're asked continually: what sort of animals can you see in Tobago? Now, you know, I've been fortunate to go into the rainforest on a number of occasions, and definitely something you will see all the time. This is a little animal called an agouti. It's a sort of cross between a rat and a rabbit. It's got 2 little, you know, rabbit legs, and it just hops along. It's very, very cute, actually. Yeah, and you will see them all over the island. We have boars in the rainforest and armadillos in the rainforest. I've seen land crabs in there, and obviously when you go into the forest, you also see the snakes. They're non-venomous, don't worry. They're perfectly safe. So you know what? There's loads and loads, as well as loads of insects that you'll encounter when you go into the rainforest. So yeah, there are loads of different things that you can see and interact with when you visit Tobago. So yes, moving on, bird life. This is actually one of the major things that you see here. Now, Tobago, because of our location, remember I said that our location down there, South America, is so important. Because of our location, we are blessed with over 260 different species of birds. Now, that might not actually mean anything to you if you're not into birdwatching or ornithology, whatever, Twitch or Twitter. But for such a small island as Tobago, for that many different species of birds is absolutely phenomenal. We have 6 different species of hummingbird alone that nest. And we've got there's 4 of them that are there permanently, and 2 that come in, that migrate over the seasons. I think it's over the winter season. To come and visit us. So, you know, with regards to the bird watching, it's colourful, it's vibrant, and of course we are very, very popular for the bird watchers as a destination. But even if you're not interested in bird watching, just sitting down, having your lunch at a restaurant and having a beautiful hummingbird buzz past you is absolutely amazing. And you'll never forget it. You'll never forget it. So yes, moving on. I've mentioned the main core, the main spine of the island is the oldest protected rainforest in the Western Hemisphere, the main ridge rainforest. Fantastic if you want your hard adventure, or if you just want a stroll. As you can see from the little video clip there, it's easily navigatable. You don't need a machete to cut through the rainforest. We have established paths, and in fact, you could actually drive up to the entrance of the rainforest if you want to and go for a wander. But one thing I would say don't do that. Why? Because if you don't go with a guide, you'll just wander for an hour, 2 hours, and you'll probably not see anything, even though you'll hear lots of things. The guides are invaluable. They stop you halfway through the tour, and they'll say, look up there, and you'll be pointing for 5 minutes, and they've spotted a bird, they've heard it, they'll tell you what type of bird it is, they'll tell you if it's nesting, and eventually you'll see it, and it's absolutely amazing, colourful, vibrant, beautiful. And obviously, as I said, this is the sort of trail that I went on when I saw the huge land crabs just scurrying around, having a look at us, amazing insects. If anybody can Google the scorpion spider, there's a little spot along this video here where he actually stops and and there's a scorpion sky that he puts on his hand, which is the size of his hand. Absolutely incredible. Totally, you know, they're non-venomous and they're not any harm to us at all. But they are incredible. So yes, the main ridge rainforest is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place to visit. There's loads and loads of different activities that you can do in and around the rainforest. But it is a protected rainforest, so there's no land reclamation, and there's no building within the rainforest or even on the outskirts of the rainforest. So yes, a wonderful little place that you can visit when coming to Tobago. Now, remember I pointed out the map? Now, along that northern coast and down in the southern coast where most of the activities are, we have absolutely amazing dive sites. The clarity of the water is superb. Now, this goes back to the question about when the best time is to travel. Over the winter months, December to April, the waters, as you can see from that video clip, is crystal clear, absolutely crystal clear. But then you see for divers, sometimes they want to see some of the big things. So they will have to go later on in the year when it's not crystal clear, when we have some nutrients which come from South America, feeding the plankton, which feed the bigger things. The eagle rays, the manta rays, the hammerhead sharks will come later on when the water's not so clear. So again, this goes back to me saying to you at the very beginning, you can travel anytime throughout the whole year to Tobago, even for divers, even for people interested in scuba diving. We proceed. Brett mentioned some of the beaches. Now, remember I told you about that northern coast. You will find, I mean, a lot of these pictures are from that northern coast. This is Parle Tuvia. It is just a beautiful village. There's no hotels there, there's no B&Bs there. You go to that village because it is beautiful. You'll meet local people. You might be able to stop on that beach and help the fishermen pull in their nets, which is called pulling the seine, I believe. So just interacting with a small, intimate community, that's the beauty of Tobago. That's what you're going to get when you go to Tobago. This image on the right-hand side is Englishman's Bay. That beautiful beach is about 2 miles stretch of gorgeous, gorgeous beach with one restaurant, which has a bar, which has a gift shop. It's just one building on that beach. Yeah, that it to me is paradise. That to me is just getting away from it all. Brett mentioned the bioluminescence experience. This is actually a halfway stop. This picture on the bottom left is actually a halfway stop. This is actually a place called No Man's Land. So you travel to this area and then you go into the lagoon just after this to experience that. But then even on this little area, this is a fantastic, beautiful little stretch of beach. So if you want your deserted beach, you want your Robinson Crusoe experience, Tobago is definitely a place that you can have that and visit. We move on. One little thing, one extra bonus. I mean, I've mentioned a couple of elements that Tobago has, and to be perfectly honest with you, its true beauty is the natural attractions that Tobago has. We have about 5 different waterfalls that you can visit. Okay, the most easily accessible one is probably this one, which is the Argyle Falls, but there are 4 others which you can, with a little trek through the forest, come upon. And basically, I went to one called Sestara with my son last November. We were the only 2 people at that waterfall. Took a couple of pictures, had a little dip. It was just incredible, absolutely beautiful. So if you want that, if you're interested in that sort of exploration, that getting away from it all experience, then Tobago. The waterfalls are absolutely gorgeous. We also have our own swimming pool in the middle of the sea, which is called Nylon Pool. It's actually a sandbank area, so the water comes up to your waist. I do actually believe that Paul is right in the middle of that picture, right in the front there. So yes, hello Paul, there you are. So the water actually comes up to your waist here, but as you can see, the water is crystal clear. Yeah, this is absolutely gorgeous, a beautiful little place that we take excursions to for people to just take a dip and exfoliate in the beautiful soft sand. Yeah. So yes, go back to the Argyle Falls. The Argyle Falls is one of the reasons why it's an iconic falls is because it has 3 tiers. It's 3 tiers with a pool underneath each tier, where you can actually take a little dip, a cooling dip after a sort of 15-minute walk into the rainforest. So you have very, very beautiful experiences, and all very natural. And then another thing we're always asked is about the festivals and the carnivals. Now, we're quite blessed. Right next to us, our sister island, the mother island, Trinidad, has perhaps one of, if not the major carnivals in the region, the Caribbean region, every single year. Yeah, and that's obviously the Trinidad Carnival. Tobago has the little sister version, the Bago Carnival. Now, it actually fits in perfectly with this presentation. The Bago Carnival is perfect for families. It's perfect for people who just want a taste of carnival. without going to the main big event in Trinidad. So Tobago Carnival is a wonderful, wonderful way of experience what Carnival is all about, but in a nice, more family-friendly way. We have Sunday school, which happens every single Sunday. Now, it's not a religious experience. It is actually our street party. It happens every Sunday in a small village called Baku. Again, it's down in that southwestern area. But yes, absolutely fantastic. Everyone who I take to Tobago, the guys from Off-Broadway Travel, they've all experienced Sunday school. And anyone else I take in the future will definitely enjoy Sunday school. So yes, an absolutely fantastic thing that happens every single Sunday in Tobago. We also have a number of festivals throughout the year. We've got the Heritage Festival, we've got the Jazz Experience, which happens every April. We have the Blue Food Festival. So again, this goes back to the question asked at the very beginning, when's the best time to travel? It doesn't matter, it depends on when you want to travel. You can always interact, you can always enjoy some of the natural festivals that happen in Tobago. These all seem quite normal, but we do also have one that I've not mentioned here yet, which is the Goat and Crab Race Festival. This is perhaps the most unusual, but one of the most fun experiences that you can have in Tobago. As you can see, these guys are actually called the jockeys. They run next to the goats. The goats don't race the crabs, which is another question I'm always asked. The goats race the birds. And as you can see from the right side of this picture, it is a family affair. There's bouncy castles. There's fun for families, for everyone to do, to join in with. So yes, this is one of our fun, unusual but fun festivals. It happens over Easter every single year, the Goat and Crab Race Festival. Food. There you go, you see there. What's the food like in Tobago? Now, because of the influences that we've had historically, the food is as vibrant and as fun as practically anywhere else in the world. Our national dish for Tobago is actually crab and dumplings, which is this image here. But we have some fantastic fine dining restaurants. Nothing too extravagant, because Tobago isn't your tip-top five-star experience as a destination. As you can see from the presentation, the five-star element is the island itself. So you have this beautiful, wonderful fine dining, but we also have lots of fantastic street food. An amazing variety of street food, from roti to doubles and other types of food. So yes, if you have any unusual food requests, Tobago can cater from it. I think on my last trip, I had a vegan and a vegetarian in my group, and every restaurant we went to, every hotel we went to eat at, they were catered for perfectly. So, if you do have anything, anything special that you need to eat, it's catered for in Tobago. But if you don't, then you're going to have an amazing time with the food in Tobago. And one little thing I will add when it comes to food is we do actually have amazing chocolate. If you guys are in front of me now and I was doing this presentation live, as we like to do, I would also bring some little tasters of the chocolate. Our chocolate is award-winning. There's one particular one called Laura, which is continually winning awards year in, year out. And we have a gorgeous dark chocolate as well as a sister to Laura. So yes, we have our own huge cocoa estate in Tobago, and it produces this fantastic cocoa beans, which obviously produces our wonderful chocolate. So yeah, if you want that experience, you can visit the cocoa estate and taste a little bit of Tobago chocolate. Another question often asked is it a good destination for solo travelers? Now, believe it or not, yes, it is. And I'm quite happy to say that the island is very safe. There's loads and loads, as we've already pointed out, loads and loads of different things that people can do. If they want to be part of groups, there are groups, actually particularly at Brett's establishment, Radical Sports, they actually receive sporting groups every year. I joined in when I visited last year. I joined in with a small group which was created on a particular night to go out to the bioluminescence experience. So yes, as a single traveler or just one, just a small a couple, you can easily interact. There's loads of different things that you can do, and you could just sit back and find your own deserted little beach and do absolutely nothing. So yes, it is good. And the key thing to say with regards to Tobago is it is very, very safe there. One little thing with regards to the image in the middle, it's just a reminder. Yes, you can visit the rainforest on your own. It's not a problem. But I would always say take a guide, because you will miss so much if you don't have a guide. And then we move on to the final slide. believe it or not, we've got through this presentation very, very quickly. So yes, final slide is, and the final question is, sorry, how easy is it to get around the island? Just like all the other questions, I have the answer for you. We actually have a bus. We actually have a bus service which leaves from down in Crown Point, which is near where Radical Sports is, down at Pigeon Point. Also, we have services leaving from Scarborough, which is the capital, which basically circumnavigate the whole island. So if you want to use local transportation, not a problem. But I would always advise, get a car, get a hire car. Why? Because we drive on the left. It's not crazy driving over there. People, it is very, very easy to sort of potter around the island. And of course, then you have your own freedom to, if you see a little beach, a little cove, just pull over. Pull over, you've got your towel there, you've got your headphones, you've got your book to read, spend 2 hours on that beach by yourself and just enjoy nature as it was meant to be. If you are positioned down in that southwest area, which is obviously where the majority of the hotels and everything else is, you can easily either hire a car for a couple of days and go and do a little bit of touring, or you can use one of the guides, because we've got loads of guides on the island who will take you to secret little spots around the island where you can just have your own little Robinson Crusoe experience. So yes, getting around the island is very, very easy. As I said before on that previous slide with regards to single travelers, it's very safe to travel around the island. There's lots of things you can do and see. It's very easy to integrate into other little mini groups that are there, so you're never ever going to be completely on your own. So yes, that I believe is it. And what I'm going to do though, before we conclude the presentation element of this, I'm going to show you a quick video. It's only about 20 minutes. I lie. It's only 3 minutes. I just didn't want to get too excited. I've got a nice 3-minute video which basically reiterates and highlights some of the things that Brett and I have been talking about and have been telling you, but with a view of showing you the island. So bear with me for just a second. I'm just going to click over to the video and we'll just have 3 minutes more of your time. Sound. Right.
It's only when I go abroad and I see what is out there and I come back and I measure against what is here. There is no comparison to beauty.
Some writings of our history, it is said that Christopher Columbus called it Bella Fauna, meaning beautifully formed.
Natural, beautiful, peaceful. Yes, I get emotional. That's why I'm here.
One of the fascinating things about nature, there is always something new, and especially in the tropics where there's such wide diversity, persons can experience and have the awe associated with some of the beaches we have, aquatic life we have, some of the fascinating birds we have within a day, within a short period of time.
You have the Caribbean Sea on one side, you have the Atlantic Ocean on the other side. On our doorstep, a fringe reef that wraps around the entire area. You have this huge amount of biodiversity and liveliness of the entire water that surrounds the island. We also do bioluminescent nighttime tours, which are like an escape into the deep, dark secrets of this, glowing phenomenon. It's like this almost cosmic effect. It's just something to be seen.
I know everybody in the village, and everybody know me. That is the nice thing about here.
Tobago is used to the extended family. There was always a grandmother, aunt, uncle. There was always love.
We eat and we drink, we laugh, and everything together.
Tobago, in one word to me, beautiful. Beautiful place to live.
It gives me great pleasure to be in Tobago and do what I do.
The sunsets here are hardly bar none, some of the nicest I've seen.
I would describe Tobago of one of the clean, serene, and the best place that anyone could come. Be easy, be happy, and have a good time. There is nothing to compare to.
This little dot called Tobago exists, and come visit.
And there you have it.
Thank you very much.
Start again.
Thank you. For
Okay,
that,
excellent.
That was incredible.
I will stop sharing now. Hold on a second. Sorry. Wow. So you heard everything on that video, because I didn't hear anything on that video as well.
Yeah, well, I heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all came through very clear.
Oh, did it? Oh, all right, cool, excellent, wonderful. So there you have it. I'm actually surprised that the time has flown and it's so quick. I do normally take a lot longer. I do tend to procrastinate a lot on my slides, but I think I've kind of got through them very quickly for you.
Quality, not quantity.
Yeah. It was obviously interesting because it went so quick. Before you said the last slide, and I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I normally have a lot of stories. I've got lots of anecdotal experiences that I add to the presentation, but I think I've been practicing to try and cut it down because I can tend to go on for about an hour sometimes, so I didn't want to do that for you.
One thing I would say is that what I'll do is I'll text you my address and you can send me that taster of that chocolate that you promised. I've
got loads of them in the office. I've got loads of them in the office. Don't worry. You can get some chocolate. So.
No, honestly, that was really good. Thank you very much. I mean, that island, as an island, it just looks like it's got so much to offer. You know, water sports, land sports, everything. It just looks unbelievable. I don't know if anybody else has got any questions, and I know also Paul and Claire obviously will come to you in a minute, but just one of the questions that I had is it's just around the accommodation a little bit in terms of recommended board bases. I know you said the food is incredible and it's well worth getting out and experiencing the local food and cuisines. What sort of accommodation is on offer out there, and what board bases do you recommend?
Well, I mean, we do look. We have everything. What we don't have is your all singing and dancing 5-star all-inclusive resorts. We have some beautiful 3- and 4-star accommodation. We've got some wonderful self-catering. Perhaps the premier property we have is a villa property, and that's as close to 5-star as we have on the island. But so in effect, and we do have some smaller 3-star, 4-star properties which offer an all-inclusive basis. But to be perfectly honest with you, unless people do want to sort of fly and flop, I know that Paul has stayed at Paul and Claire. Oh my gosh, I'm losing it. There's the Alzheimer's coming back again. Sorry. Claire, they've stayed at some of these properties. Unless people do want to just fly and flop, I always say just go there on a B&B basis, or even a half-board base, but and go out, because dining out in Tobago is not expensive. It's not expensive. And the beauty of dining out is you get different flavors and different experiences every single night. Yes, if people want all-inclusives, we've got a couple of properties, or 3 properties, which do have all-inclusive rates. So if people want, everything all packaged up, it's definitely feasible. But the self-catering and the B&B basis is just as good. When I went there in November, we bead and bead. We bead and bead? I had breakfast and we fed ourselves in the evening. So yeah, it really isn't. It's not astronomical. So
I found, because it was so easy to get out and about and it's easy to get around, it's nice to be able to sample the different restaurants. I mean, just seeing Alison there from the Blue Crab. I mean, that in itself is an experience. She's brilliant.
Yes.
She's so enthusiastic about what she's doing, and
she loves the island. She loves the island, and I try to make sure that whenever. If anyone, I've had a couple of friends, and I've actually had consumers who've contacted me and asked me for recommendations. I've given them examples of days out, and now definitely, if you're interested in a bit of culture, you should go to Fort King George, which is in Scarborough. The guys I've taken on trips, we've brought you to. It's beautiful. There's a lovely museum there. You will learn so much about the history and the culture of Tobago by visiting there. But one of the great things about visiting there, if you visit there in late morning, just down 5 minutes down from Fort King George, is the Blue Crab. So it's a lovely little combination that you could go shopping, go up to the Fort King George, then come down to the Blue Crab for some lunch, and then go on for the afternoon to do whatever you're going to do, in the afternoon. So it's a lovely little combination. So I often advise people that's a great way of experiencing the Blue Crab as an option. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Paul. There is so many places. Yeah.
Claire, what about your experiences when you were
I love that lady as well. She was beautiful. Wasn't she from a program as well, Stephen? Did she go on a cookery program or something?
Oh yes, she was on what's his name? Everyone says I look like him.
I can't remember who it was.
He's very flamboyant. Ainsley Harriott, yes. Ainsley's Caribbean Kitchen. Ainsley Caribbean Kitchen. I don't think I look like him at all. Actually, he might look a bit like me on a bad day. But I don't know. Yeah, Ainsley's Caribbean Kitchen, which is a sort of TV show which came on last year, and yeah, he had a good experience. At the Blue Crab.
It was so good. I thought she was lovely.
Yeah.
The way she treated us and everything, showed us what she does every day and everything like
so
that.
Enthusiastic.
She's quite elderly, isn't she, as well?
Well, she's not young. We're not all young, so.
Amazing that she was still working so hard as well.
It's her pride. She loves it. She absolutely loves it. Her and her husband, that's their little baby, and they absolutely adore it. So yes.
But I must admit, the took us on my trip was amazing. The food was absolutely gorgeous. We went to different restaurants and everything. My favourite was an Island Pools, that excursion you took us on. Beautiful.
Yeah. And did you guys spot Paul? Did you see yourself there in that picture?
I could see you something. Yeah, I couldn't make myself out.
Something. That was you. That was you. Trust me when I say.
100%
Right slap bang in the middle. It was definitely you.
I should have stood at the back.
No, too late.
I've got a question here for Brett. Actually, someone's asked about if there's a restriction for children's ages to take part in the bioluminescent experience.
No, there's not. I mean, we have had some kind of excited parents who've even taken 1-year-olds on the tour. I think that's a little excited. But we kind of have jackets for everything from kind of 1 and 2-year-olds go on. I mean, normally I think that the kids, once they reach about 4 or 5 years old, going up, would probably interact with it a little bit better. Because they might be at a swimming age, and there's a lot of kids where I give them my paddle board and they're using it like a rocky board to jump and see who can make the biggest bloom of blue. And so they're doing these cannonballs off of the boards, and all of a sudden the very quiet adult tour can turn into a little bit lively that we have on the tour. So we try to put the kids, and parents or whatever, with a little bit more of, age group that will be similar, but anybody can enjoy it. And pretty much what we would try and do with the smaller kids is that some of the kayaks would have like seats in the middle. And so they would kind of go for free in the middle between mom and dad, and mom and dad are in charge of, calming the crazy and keeping them, kind of inside. But it's a lot of fun, and we're really excited that we could have kids. And these are non-alcoholic tours. There are no music. It's also exposing them to nature at a different level. And because it's at night, they're almost ready for bed. So they've usually used most of their energy. Although after the bio tour, we might have restarted. What mom and dad never wanted.
The excitement.
Yeah, they got a dose of some glowing coffee, and the night might be a little crazy later. But yeah, so any age really works. But you have to obviously know your child.
Yeah.
And if there's even some special needs or things like that or whatever, we have catered to those and just kind of made the tours a little bit more private and smaller. So that we could, offer something to them as well too. So this is for any and everybody, and we've been doing it for the better part of a decade. So we've ironed out all the things that we should and shouldn't do. So, but yeah, kids are definitely a big part of it.
Can I just add to that as well? When we went in November, although I've been before, one of the things that stood out for me was the water was so warm. The water was so warm all around that lagoon. It was just so comfortable to interact with that water. And you kind of think this is night. We're night now in the UK. It's darker than it is here now. But you'd anticipate or expect the water to be cold or cooler. But it was lovely. It was like it was bath temperature. It was really lovely.
Put it into perspective or whatever, because it's a question people obviously ask a lot. It's 27 degrees Celsius at night in that water, and 25 degrees is outside air. So with the smaller kids, we would also take like a dry bag. We'd tell mom and dad to bring like some towels, maybe a little bottle of water or a snack or something like that we could have in a nice bag in the kayak, so that, you know, after swimming and all the excitement and all the crazy, you know, if they're sitting down for the, you know, 15 to 20 minute paddle back from that no man's land beach Stephen showed us earlier, that they're also, you know, warm up, because obviously they have a little bit less body mass than all of us do, especially after COVID. So
I thought you were going to say especially me.
No. Doom reduces 10 or 20 pounds.
This is called winter blubber, okay? This is designed to keep you warm in the winter.
I just buy my muscle shirts, you know. That's
I still haven't got to wear the one that I bought.
Oh yeah, no, don't worry. It'll warm you up. It'll warm you up in the winter, you know.
It will. Another thing that you did was, sorry, this is just enhancing the bioluminescence experience, was the flying fish and the bats.
Yeah.
You had the bats that came down and swooped, because I didn't even know what that was, and you also had the flying fish as well. It's such an amazing evening. If you just even moving away from just that wonderful experience in the bioluminescence. So yeah, sorry, I thought I'd just add to that a little bit.
Yeah, I've got a question just following on from that. Can we? I don't know if it's aimed more at Brett or Stephen. Are we able to pre-book that for clients before they travel, or is it something that they would then have to arrange when they get there?
No, they can pre-book it. Like for example, like we also work with some tour operators directly that deal with niche tourism, with windsurfing, and they'll come down on 14-day holidays and they'll actually pre-book that ahead of time, and we actually have TO rates for that as well too. And how they could like really pre-book it, because this is what's great, is we actually have 2 years of dates that are online, so that and this is after, you know, almost 9 years of doing it. So we kind of know the optimal days where there's, you know, a 95% chance that you'll see some decent bio, that you could go on there, look at the dates, select the date and say, okay, does that, you know, mesh with the time that I'm looking for? And because it's available all year long, you can get, you know, with a 14-day cycle every month. So there's 50% of the month that you can see this stuff. But like Stephen was saying earlier too, one of the reasons why we're able to get those bats, we're able to do all those things, is because we went out there, we're quiet, and we kind of fit into nature. And we've kind of figured out by adding the right light and reducing the right light, that, you know, the nature can, you know, get right up to our face. And every night that we go out, it's a safari, you know, just like in Africa, you got the gazelles and the lions and the tigers. And, hey, look, the giraffes are here. And oh, look, the rhinoceroses. So that same thing happens to us. We kind of know about 7 or 8 species every night. Bio is only one of them, but sometimes you get 12, 13 species. So yeah, it's a wild adventure.
And another question just around the accommodations, for either of you, I don't mind. Is the island small enough for you to stay in one place and get out and visit most of it from one base, or is it the kind of island that you'd recommend maybe a twin centre or a few nights in one place and then the majority of your stay elsewhere?
Brett would have an opinion, but my opinion is, when you stay in that southern western area where basically 90% of everything is, although the island is relatively quiet compared to some of the other destinations, that is kind of, you get a hubbub feeling. You're only a couple of minutes walk away from the nightlife. There's always a bar just around the corner. But then when you stay, because you can stay in Kastara Village, or you can stay in Space Islets, which is right on the top right-hand corner of the island, and Kastara Village is right in the middle of the island, sort of at the top as well. I'm visualizing it. It's difficult to explain without showing you a map. If you stay in those sort of places, or even in some of the small sort of villas which are dotted and B&Bs which are dotted around the island, you get a totally different experience. You get a I describe it as village life experience. There's not an abundance of bars. There's probably 1 or 2 different bars that you can go to. In Castara, there's about three or four different restaurants total that you can go to. Castara has actually some amazing nightlife on Thursday and Wednesday night. I think Wednesday night they have the drum beat guys playing in a particular bar, and then on Thursday night they have like they have bonfire in a different bar. So they have bonfires on the beach in a different bar, and it's just so back to nature and so laid back. It's unbelievable. And also when you stay up in Speyside, again, it's all about village life. It's just that one bar that's playing music in the whole area, you know, in that little area when you're staying up there. So you get a totally different vibe when you stay in those quiet areas compared to pretty much anywhere down in that southwest. So to answer your question, yes, you could stay in one area and experience a lot of but the reality is, if you want that village life, you're going to have to stay there for a night or 2. So, you know, consider a 2 center. And a perfect example, a friend of mine who I used to work with actually won a holiday to Tobago. She won some flights basically, and she's doing exactly what she was doing it until it was cancelled. But when she goes back, that was what she booked. She booked 3 nights in Castara and the rest, and she had a week down in the southwest. Yeah, so just to get that village life, which is a totally different vibe. Yes, you can. You can definitely do. I mean, Brett, would you add to that, or?
Yeah, I would agree with Stephen. I mean, I kind of think that, you know, just like what you said, that if you get in any sort of automotive vehicle and you drive 20 minutes, you will then go back in time 50 years.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's it.
and you know, so if you want your own little time machine of what it was like to, you know, see an island, you know, in the 1950s or even before that, the further you go, the closer that you get to that rainforest and then get to the other side of the island. It is a uniquely different experience. And I live on that area that, you know, Stephen was saying, where everything is kind of around here because it's close to the airport and Radical Sports and to a lot of the more lively things that are going on here. But every time that I get in my car and I drive out there, I smack the mirror up trying to hit myself to say that I need to do it more often. Because you know, we're kind of connected to, especially now, you know, online like we are right now, into the grid. And, you know, when you all of a sudden are out there, you feel disconnected and vulnerable and not unsafe, but just vulnerable, because nature is just, you know, you're breathing in these air and these scents and this life that you don't get anywhere. And it's intoxicating, and you want to stay more and more. You want to plug in, get some Wi-Fi, tell everybody else this is what's going on. And can you see what's behind me? You know, I mean, wow. But at the same time too, you want to be in the moment and just really enjoy it, because we need more experiences like that, you know, remind us why we're here in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the gorgeous thing about it is it still remains unspoiled. There's no major plans for huge development around the island, and there hasn't been for a long period of time, because that is our key selling point, the island itself. Remember I said when I was talking about the attractions on the island and the fact that we don't have any all singing and dancing 5-star resorts. 5-star for us is the island. That's, you know, if you want your glamorous white glove service hotel, there are other destinations for that. Your glamorous experience is being close to nature and just being on your patio or on your veranda of your hotel or wherever of your hotel room, and just listening to the birds and seeing the hummingbirds buzz by, and just, you know, just enjoying that vibe. One thing I will add, when I was there in November, I actually stayed in Castara, and I went for I was down at the beach bonfire night, and I told my boss, the people, I actually turned on my phone, and I actually had a 5G signal on my phone, which absolutely flabbergasted me. It's like, oh, I said to my son, I've got 5G here. I've got 5G. It's got 5G here. Yeah. Well, we're down on the beach, and it was, you know, the bonfire. It was like, oh, okay, because we normally, you go to a restaurant, you go to dinner, and then we've got to check in, and we look for our Wi-Fi signal, and it was like, oh, I've got 5G. Okay, so that was a little fun experience when I was there, which I thought was, oh, Okay, but so we are up with technology, and there is a signal near the rainforest, but
I think I'm definitely going to put my name down after Natalie for being the next actor visitor. I might fight Natalie for first place and watch her see you win.
That's a fight I'd love to see.
I don't have any more questions. I don't think we've had any more over on Facebook.
I've just got one question. Sorry, you know the Argyle waterfalls? Can you go there on your own and just do your own thing, or do you have to be part of a group?
No, you can just like with everything. You can do anything on your own there. There is a gate, and there's a shop there, and there's a fee, and I think it works out to be like £5 to actually go to the waterfall. It's about a 10-15 minute walk along a well-established path, so you're not going to get lost. And then at the very end, you have to you won't get lost. Trust me, you couldn't get lost. And then you have to go over some rocks, and then you come to the waterfall. You can climb up to the other levels. Now I managed to get up to the second level, carrying all of this, believe it or not, my winter blubber. I managed to get up there, but Reese, my son, he got up to the very top level as well. So you can do it, and it wasn't too difficult. It was just me being lazy. But yes, and yes, if you're on your own, it is something that you can do. Yeah.
What I would just add to what Stephen said is 100% correct. But because it's TED, you'd want to, part of the beauty of Tobago is that, there's a lot of people who will also give you free advice about, excursions and stuff. And like Stephen pointed out or whatever, it's always great to have a tour guide. That particular waterfall is a little bit more skewed towards ease of use and access. However, you could accidentally not go like Stephen did to the second and the third. And the higher that you go up is actually the more interactive the waterfall becomes, where you can get underneath the waterfall against the rock.
Yeah.
And you can get into the pool, and it's still that absolutely perfect water.
Yeah.
And so, I've only been to the third. My drone has been to the fourth, fifth, and sixth. but you're showing off now. Yeah, you'd really want to get up to at least the second or third of level to really take in everything that it is. And then some of the other waterfalls that are around Tobago, like Rainbow, you'd want a guide, or Twin Rivers. Or if you went to Castara, which is the other one that Stephen was also mentioning, which is just behind a football field. It's a 5-minute walk, small waterfall, but again, 5 minutes and you're in paradise by yourself. I mean,
I went there with Reese. I stayed in Castara and we just walked to the waterfall, and it's very easy. It's easily done. You do have to cross over the stream halfway there, but yeah, it's as long as you take your time. It's not too demanding, but it's worth it. It was just myself and my son there. There's no crowds. There's no hustle. There's no queue of people waiting to take their perfect shot. It's just paradise.
And the beautiful part, last little 2 seconds on Argyle, is that there's a little shop as well too, where you can get that fresh cocoa that you guys are talking about for under £5. And remember to bag it twice before you take it back home, because all your clothes will smell like beautiful cocoa. Just a little bit is enough to make that coffee extra special, or that special fun.
Perfect. No, it does. It sounds really good. Does anybody else have any more questions at all for Stephen or Brett before we say goodbye? Okay, cool. So honestly, guys, thank you so much for giving up your evening. It really is appreciated. It's such a fantastic presentation, and it does look like a really good destination. I'm not joking. I will be fighting Natalie for first spot. So Brett, I'll see you soon. No. What we'll do is obviously we'll send this out to all of our clients, and if there is any more questions, Stephen will get in touch with you directly, and we'll answer them for any questions. So if any clients do have any questions, then obviously feel free to give us a call or drop us an email. But honestly, thanks again for giving up your evening and giving up your time, Brett.
No problem at all.
Much appreciated, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.